Raise the hammer, feel the spirit rise. Thunderbird fly in the roaring skies. Rock winds collide like lightning in the storm. On Monday nights, a legend is born.
Welcome, Thunderbird Nation, to the Thunderbird Coaches Show. I'm Jon Smith, joined by our beloved head football coach, Delane Fitzgerald, and our Visit Cedar City Brian Head Student Spotlight Player of the Week here is Jackson Berry. Guys, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, John.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
I love we got the short sleeve hoodie with the
It wasn't planned, but
it looks good.
it looks good.
Yeah, this is going to be a good show. We are outfitted for success.
Are you telling us that you look good too?
Look,
my friend.
I don't need to say I look good. The
my
camera will let the people know.
My friend, you're looking a little worse for the wear.
No, this is just a prop. It's Halloween. I'm getting into this season.
Everybody watching has already decided that Shannon finally had enough.
They know it's probably true.
Shannon, Mama Diane decided they're going to put you in your place.
Yeah, that's a fact. I'm just working on my mummy costume week by week. So
you're adding to it up till things.
That's right.
Up till Halloween.
Yep, up to Halloween. That's right.
John, tell everybody what happened to you, please.
There's no story here. I just tripped and fell and broke my arm. The radial head fracture of the elbow, to be specific. It's not displaced, so I'll just be in a sling for a couple weeks, and I can't feel my fingers, and I'm all bruised up and battered, and my what's the word? I would say my ego is also a little bruised and battered. I fell at the golf course in front of about 100 people, and I just bit it. I mean, it was like a full It was bad, Coach.
Did you know you could get injured at a golf course?
I want to know, did you stay down or did you just hop right back up trying to play it off?
I did. I hopped right back up. I couldn't breathe. I was seeing stars because I hit my head, and I kind of crept around the corner of the building, kind of like a dog, where they go find a place to lay down and die. That's how I felt.
So when I tell the players from now on, be tough, you're not playing golf, it doesn't apply anymore. You can actually get busted up doing that.
You can get busted up walking, apparently. That's, Now the people know. They all know.
Yeah,
my weakness
moral of the story is this. Be an athlete.
Be an athlete. It was a yard sale, too. Like, I had my clubs, and they went everywhere, and I hit my head, and, my ribs are bruised, and I sprained my shoulder. It was, all the things, like you said, be an athlete. It was not good, Coach. But as the team goes through, the first, 7 games, all the cool T-Birds are getting hurt. So I figured, why don't I just jump in and ride the trend?
But they're playing football.
I know. I don't play football, so I just had to take one for the team.
All right.
And just yard sale in front of 100 people. It was embarrassing.
I don't know what yard sale means, but it's funny.
Yeah, well, if you're skiing and your skis pop off and your poles go and your hat flies, that's a yard sale. So my clubs went everywhere, my hat fell off. And
I'm having a really hard time hiding my amusement.
You are? Because you brought it up. I don't know.
It's really tough for me.
We should play poker then, because it's bad. All right, anyway, enough about me and my stupid lack of walking skills. It's the bye week. We've had our bye week. Ladies and gentlemen, this segment is brought to you by Retro Fitness. This is the bye week special. The bye week special brought to you by Retro Fitness. Don't fall and hurt yourself and go to the gym.
He's stuck.
Stuck.
He got stuck on that subject and can't get off of it now.
Oh, man. Well,
and so we went through bye week last week, and now we're on to West Georgia. John, we started working on West Georgia last Monday, so we've been into West Georgia for a week now. Good football program, and that's where we're at now. So full week of practice, and we'll travel to Carrollton on Friday and play a good West Georgia football team on Saturday at 2 p.m.
Yeah, man. I want to ask you really quick, though, before we get into football. I know you're trying to bypass. You took a little trip. Tell us a little bit about your trip on the bye week and the family matters that you attended to.
Not going to let me. So I hopped,
No, you brought up my broken arm.
hopped a plane on Friday and flew to Virginia, and I officiated my stepdaughter, Maddie Meeks. I officiated her wedding on Saturday in full cowboy garb.
Full cowboy with the hat.
With the hat.
The cowboy preacher.
Yeah, just finding a cowboy hat that fit my head, and that's a full-time task. But
I've seen a few.
The wedding was great, and it was everything that Maddie wanted it to be, which is what's important
That
to
is
me
important,
and
yeah,
the rest
absolutely.
of the family. And wish Maddie and Ty all the best going forward.
Hey, congratulations, Maddie. Still a little iffy on your choice of officiators, but he said he got through it, so that's pretty cool. It's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see that happen and to be a part of it. That's pretty cool.
I hope for me officiating a wedding that it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
More nervous to go to a game or to officiate a wedding?
Oh, to officiate a wedding.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably not the deep waters that you want to
If
swim
we
in.
don't play well, it's his fault. Yeah. But if I mess up, stand up there talking and I screw that up.
Oh, man. Jackson Berry, what'd you do on the bye week?
I headed out on Thursday, actually, and went back to Dallas, back to the house where
Yeah.
I'm from, and spent the weekend there. Just hung out, relaxed,
Gotta
watched
see the
football.
folks.
My parents were actually in Lubbock. They went down and saw my sister while she was in college, so it was a house to myself, just me and my dog. So
House
it was
party in
perfect.
Prosper,
While
Texas.
everybody's getting it here, Jackson's parents love him so much they heard he was coming home and they planned a trip.
Yeah, yeah.
Who do you love more? Well, we are going to go see your sister down in Lubbock.
Hey, glad you're coming home. Don't eat all the food. Bye.
I met Jackson's parents at the Arizona State University game. They were up in the box with during the big crazy storm, and met your mom and dad there, and cool people, man. Yeah, so shout out the Berry family.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, now that we've got all the niceties, let's talk about bye week preparation. You guys are on to West Georgia. Yeah. We'll go over West Georgia here in the preview, but
The bye week gives you.
the
bye week gives you an extra week to get prepared for a team. The majority of the time, it works out for the team that's had the extra week to prepare. But we were successful against Eastern Kentucky 2 weeks ago. They had a bye week to get prepared for us, and that's what you don't want to repeat of. You don't want to take 2 weeks to prepare for a team and then not play well against them.
And travel can be part of it, too. I mean, we're going to Atlanta. We're flying from Cedar City to Atlanta, Georgia, and then busing down to Carrollton, Georgia for a conference game. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Not ideal.
We are travel tested.
Yeah.
Our players will be fine. We handle the plane trips
That's
pretty
true.
well.
Yep.
We played well both plane trips this year.
Austin P.
We plan to play well again this weekend.
Amen.
Hey, John, no excuses.
Yeah, great. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about West Georgia, a little later in the show. But, man, anything else you want to talk about on the bye? It'll be a short segment. There's not a lot to talk about.
No,
you went to Virginia. You went to Texas. I fell on my keister and broke my arm.
It's an exciting week.
Great bye week.
Very exciting
Yeah.
week. Yeah, we practiced 3 times. We had 3 good days of practice, and then we lifted twice. All guys were all back in town yesterday evening, and we're ready to go again.
What's the emphasis on a bye week? Like eat? Like keep your weight up?
It's one of them.
Stay out of trouble. Yeah. Go to school. Get your grades going.
Hey,
like,
John,
what are the things?
The emphasis doesn't change on bye week. The emphasis is that we get better each day.
Sure.
We're getting better on the days we practice. On the off days, we're getting better through recovery and treatment and lifting. But, one of the emphasis is gaining a couple of pounds. But we want our young men and our coaching staff to improve each day.
Yeah. Well, I gained 5 pounds, so chalk me up for for doing the right thing on the bye week. I got a little thicker.
He gains 2 or 3 more, he'd be big enough to be a kicker.
Ooh, I could be a kicker.
Slide.
I played soccer.
What
in
did
college.
what did that mean?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Right in there. I mean, I'm gonna stop.
Good. Okay, we'll move on. My favorite segment of each show is the Visit Cedar City Bryan Head Student Spotlight. We've got Jackson Berry, as we've established. Jackson, we're going to get to know you a little better, talk a little bit about where you're from, your trip through your football career, how you landed at Southern Utah, and just a few things to get the juices going for this week. First of all, where are you from? You said you're from Dallas, but where are you really from?
Yep, from Prosper, North Texas. Grew up there my whole life, really. Been living in the same house. Went to Prosper High School. Went through that whole ISD my whole entire life. So, that's pretty much been my home. But moved up in here, graduated in 2021. Moved up to Cedar. Been here ever since. And really like Cedar City. Honestly, really like Utah.
Love it. Let's talk a little bit about high school football in Prosper, Texas. What's it like, dude?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's right now it's 6A, so top of the top, biggest of the biggest, and it's a real good program. I feel like my head coach was Brandon Schmidt. He's out in where's he at right now? He's like over there by A&M, Corpus Christi, stuff like that. Okay. So it was a good program. It was fun. A lot of hype around the school while I was there because we were growing so much while I was growing up through there, but it was really fun. I mean, big games, big stadium.
Yeah, I was going to say, what does the stadium hold in high school there?
Our stadium holds about 12,000, so it's a big stadium. Every team we're playing against is pretty much the same size. They're all pretty serious.
Yeah, and is it a regional stadium that you played in, or is it just for your high school?
Well, while I was there, we were the only high school, so it was just ours. But now there's 3. Next year going to be 4, so they're all sharing it now. McKinney's doing the same thing. Plano's doing the same thing.
Big.
Allen's pretty much the only city still holding on to one high school, using it for themselves. So
those big regional facilities are like 30,000, 40,000 like seats. It's crazy.
Yeah, they take it pretty serious. It's
that's
crazy.
What I was trying to get to.
Yeah, it's pretty
high
crazy.
school football in Texas is different, y'all. It's I said y'all. My Texans coming out. Let's talk about how you got here. Who recruited you? How did you find SUU from Prosper, Texas?
Yeah, so Coach Matt Wade, that's over at Fresno, reached out to me and recruited me with DeMario Warren under that staff. So they were only here not even my freshman year, just the first semester.
Right.
First fall semester they were here, and then Coach Fitz came in with his staff. So that's kind of the people that reached out to me and recruited me was Matt Wade and DeMario Warren. And yeah, that's how I heard of Southern Utah. I didn't really know anything about Utah until I heard from them, got out here. So it was a change, but I think Utah and Texas are pretty comparable. I like the state a lot, honestly.
Yeah, tell me what you told me before the show about you went home and you were like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's growing so rapidly that it's LA traffic. It's that type of traffic now. It's pretty brutal, honestly.
People everywhere.
Yeah.
Once you get used to God's country out here where you can look and see a vista without, 150, 200,000 people in the way, it kind of makes an imprint on your heart. When you go other places, you feel a little claustrophobic, don't you?
I almost did feel it's just moving so fast,
yeah.
And that's just how the world is. But you kind of, like you said, you get to Cedar City, everything kind of slows down a little bit. You get to focus on yourself, becoming a man. I've enjoyed it a lot.
Nah, that's awesome. Shout out Cedar City.
Yeah,
awesome. Let's ask you a few questions to get to know you a little better. Excuse me. Pre-game music, what you listen to?
I'm old school. I've been listening to Eminem on game day pretty much my whole life. That's kind of what my dad had playing baseball, football growing up. So that's kind of what I've always got me in my mindset of just why am I doing this, like stuff like that.
Stay in the moment.
Yeah, just staying in the moment. Lately, just to ease my mind a little bit, just with so much noise going on, a little bit of Brandon Lake, just keeping a little bit of gospel going through the head,
There you go.
So those two people are kind of going through my headset right now.
I like that.
When I'm on game day.
Favorite meal? I like
favorite meal.
If it was your last meal, what's your go-to? I know he likes fried chicken.
Yeah, it's got to be something from my mom. She's a great cook, honestly. It's got to be. It might be her chicken fried steak. I like the way she does the broccoli. I like her broccoli a lot. Some type of pasta. I love pasta. So the chicken fried steak's pretty. You could swap that, honestly. You could go steak. You could do something, but the broccoli and the pasta needs to be top tier on my plate.
That's what's up. All right. Let's see here. You're a quarterback. What quarterback in the league, in the NFL, or in college would you say that you emulate your game like? Like who do you look for? I guess there's two questions. Who do you look up to, and then who do you feel like you emulate or looks like your game? Might be
It's
different
crazy.
people.
I actually just got this question yesterday about who I feel like I imitate or whatever, and it's kind of a hard question for me because I feel like I don't really want to imitate anybody else.
You want to be you.
Right, but growing up, when I took over quarterback, Baker Mayfield was kind of getting hot, doing his thing over at OU, so he kind of just like sparked something inside of me, seeing just a different body type, different energy, attitude type of quarterback that on the field. That's kind of what I mean, I grew up playing running back and DN, so I never was really a quarterback growing up. So it's kind of just those attributes I like, just the energy, the violence. That's kind of what I try to like look for.
I love it.
In another player.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question. What's your favorite Fitz quote, or do you have an impersonation?
I don't
This
even.
is a safe space, Jackson.
It's
a safe space.
You're not getting benched this week.
It's a lot of
Go ahead and
things.
spit it out.
He said so much stuff to me. It's good and bad.
It just goes in this ear and out that ear.
It does.
He still remembers it.
I was about to say it. You want to say it'll go in this ear and out the other, just like water off a duck's back,
No,
but
it sticks, doesn't it?
it does. It really does. And I don't know.
Are you saying that
I'm gonna say
Are you
one
saying that
comment-
I'm scarring John every show we do? Just
I
a
would
few
say-
more.
At the end, I'm gonna have
one
a black
comment.
eye,
Yeah.
broken leg.
One comment that really stuck with me, I feel like, and it was kind of a comment to put me down a while back, but he looked at me and kind of just told me he didn't think I was a winner. And that kind of sat with me this whole time, just because I know who I am and what I've been my whole life. So that's kind of one thing that's always fueled me, like ever since he said
Did I
it.
say it just like that?
He might have. I don't even.
Your eyes were a little deader, I think.
Did I say it in those words?
It was probably worse than what I just said.
Wow.
On the mic, but no, he said a lot of good things. He pushes us real hard. He wants to bring the best out of us, which I really appreciate. And it's like
It worked, right?
it does.
Yeah.
So he pushes you every day to be the best you, and that's what we need more of
Yeah,
in this
love
world, I think too. So I appreciate it.
Sometimes there's some tough love in there. We say sometimes there's carrot, sometimes it's stick. Sometimes you got to use the stick, sometimes you got to use the carrot.
Yeah, and like you just said, one thing he does is I've seen is he actually has a lot of grace for the players that he coaches. So he understands that we're young men, we're gonna mess up, do things different, like the wrong way sometimes. And
Sure.
yeah, he gets on you, and it's not something you like in the moment, but he has grace for you. He tells you keep going, like get better, don't do that ever, like, so it's good for you.
He's got a little preacher in him, as was evidenced this week.
He's not letting anything
I set you
go.
up for that. I know
He's
it.
not
That's
letting-
my guy.
Yeah, I don't think the word grace and me haven't been used together. a whole
No,
bunch.
you don't give yourself credit. There's grace. That's an incredible compliment, to be honest. To tell someone that they have grace is one of the best compliments I think you can give. Not to get too serious about it, but look, you impact people's lives whether you like. And maybe it's to win games, but the reality is 20 years down the road, he's going to be talking about his time here and your impact on his life, and that's why we like you in Cedar City, both of you. That's awesome. This is why college football to me is football in its purest form. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Any other things that we need to know about Jackson Berry for the visit Cedar City and Brian Head Spotlight?
Yeah, it's just I'm just a normal guy. I like to kick it, just outdoors with the homies, watch football, eat food. So, I mean, other than when I'm doing football, I'm just a normal guy as well with the friends out in public,
baseball
type
at
of stuff
all?
like that. Yeah, I was a baseball player growing up. I was a big time baseball player, more than football. I wanted to be in the MLB, and when I got to high school, I was on varsity at the end of my freshman year, and then sophomore year comes around. It was going to be hopefully my takeoff year with baseball, and ended up getting sick a little bit, lost a bunch of weight, just didn't go my way, so just ended up going full-time football. It's just crazy how that worked out.
And now you're in the studio in Cedar City with Chewbacca. I mean, life is a crazy thing. We got Santa Chewy over here. We got Ron Burgundy / Bronson Barron in the corner. All right. Well, look, we're glad that you're here. I was one last question: Dodgers or Yankees?
Rangers. I'm a Rangers fan. I'm all Dallas fan. Dallas Cowboys,
If he's
Stars,
going Rangers,
Rangers,
then I can
Mavs.
say Washington Nationals.
No,
The
no, you
Nats.
can't dodge the question.
Go Nats.
It's the World Series is set. We got Yankees, Dodgers. Who you got?
Let's go Yankees.
Blech. What do you who you got?
Those two are all that's wrong in sports right now.
Well, it's like
Those-
Alabama playing Georgia, Coach.
Maybe-
Same.
Maybe they'll tie.
Ooh, there you go. This isn't football. This isn't Europe. Sorry, football. So who you got? Dodgers or Yankees?
No, I don't care.
Don't know, don't care.
Yeah, couldn't care.
Well,
Couldn't
my
care
favorite
less.
team is the Minnesota Twins, and who's ever playing the Yankees. So go Dodgers. All right, let's move on. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your comments. Great guest. We now have the University of West Georgia on our minds. Georgia on my mind. See what I did there? Let's preview them. The preview here is sponsored by the Warehouse Bar Plus Kitchen. Look, we're getting close to Halloween. We got the Halloween party over there at the Warehouse Bar Plus Kitchen, 21 plus, for your fall food and beverage needs. Go kick it at the Warehouse Bar Plus Kitchen. Coach, the Wolves of the University of West Georgia. Let's preview them. I know they've had a tough time in the conference so far. I think they're 0-4, 0-5. Man, they seem to be a tough, hardworking team from what I have observed. What can you tell us about the Wolves?
Yeah, well coached. Very well coached. First-year head coach. They're transitioning to FCS football. He's done a nice job. They went out and got 40-plus transfers this offseason. So they have a bunch of new guys. And most of their playmakers right now are those new guys. But they did a good job of filling a roster and filling it with good players. John, sound on offense, sound on defense, very sound on special teams, very steady. I'll start with the offense. They made a quarterback change in the second quarter of 2 weeks ago against Central Arkansas, and the young man who's a transfer from Alabama A&M, number 8, he comes in and sparked them, and he threw for a bunch of yards at Central Arkansas. He threw for a bunch of yards on Saturday against Shorter. I think he's averaging close to 300 yards a game passing. They have 3 receivers that can really play now.
Yeah.
That number 1, number 3, number 13, all good players, but we've got to match up against them and make sure that we have coverage. It's going to be a long day for us because the quarterback and the receivers are good football players. Little running back number 22 does a nice job for them and has done a nice job for a long time for them, but he's a good player. And then up front, they're sound. They're sound on the offensive line. They switch over on defense, and they really get after you in the backfield. And sacks and tackles for loss are their things. But their front 7 play like I want our front 7 to play, which is getting off the ball, and they play in the backfield and a lot of tackles for loss.
With their hair on fire.
That's the way you should play football.
Yeah.
They're trying to tackle you on the other side of the football, which is the way it should be.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of respect, a lot of admiration for the way they play defense, John. But if they get to having success at TFLs and sacks, it'll be a long day for us.
Yeah.
And then on special teams, they don't make a whole lot of mistakes. They're steady. They do a nice job there. They're well coached there.
I watched a little of that Shorter game, and it looks like what you just said, putting a little pressure on the quarterback, getting in the backfield quick with our defensive line is going to be critical because, like you said, that guy can throw it around a little bit. Receivers, like you said, are good. I noticed on defense, and it was Shorter.
He uses the new quarterback uses his feet a lot better than the last one did. He's a threat running the football.
It seems like he's calm in the pocket, but knows when to go. I'll also say that, and maybe it was because they were playing Shorter. I'm not familiar with Shorter, but they were in the backfield against on their QB.
Shorter's a middle of the road Division II program, and they're playing some of their best football this fall. So it's an admirable opponent.
Yeah. Well, they were in the backfield constantly. That, like you said, that D-line had a sense of urgency. He was getting back there, and that poor quarterback, man, he didn't have a whole lot of time to do a whole lot. Although he played okay. He just threw it to the other team a couple times. Man, Joel Taylor, you mentioned he's their head coach. He's a first year in Division FCS. Like, First
Joel-
year head coach?
Yeah, Joel's been around a couple spots, just like all of us. He's
Mm-hmm.
worked with a couple of friends of mine, so got some inside information on him that way. But Joel seems to be a stand-up guy, and he seems to be a good football coach. He cares about the kids. But for the last couple of years, he's been defensive coordinator at Mercer. So he worked for my former coach, Drew Cronick, at
Yeah,
Mercer.
that's right.
Yeah, and you don't work for Drew Cronick unless you're a good person and a good coach. But Joel was there. He took the head coaching job at West Georgia this past offseason.
Got it. So this is literally his first year being head coach, as well as they've moved up from D2 to FCS football now. Man, good for him. I watched their coaches show. He's well spoken. I think he's a pretty good communicator, and I just felt like they're knocking on the door. Right, I mean they've lost a few football games,
really close
but Central
games.
Arkansas was like a point. Austin P was a couple points.
Should have beaten Central Arkansas. Scored a touchdown with 20-some seconds on the clock.
Yep.
And instead of kicking the extra point going into overtime, they went for 2, and it was close, but they missed it. And anyway, didn't connect on the flat route to win the football game. They had Eastern Kentucky on the ropes. I got to watch that game on TV a month ago. They played a couple of really, really close games.
Yeah, that Austin P game, they had like over 400 yards of offense and just couldn't punch it in.
Correct.
Like they were getting to the red zone and just not quite finishing. But they're going to be someone we can't look past. We can't look past anybody, but especially those teams that have 0-4. You think, hey, we should be able to go in and do our thing.
Yeah, our guys, our Jackson, did we not learn our lesson against Idaho State? Yeah, we've learned our lesson on that whole deal. John, we're going to get on a plane at the wee hours in the morning on Friday, and we're flying to Atlanta, and then we bust to Carrollton and spending the night and getting up and playing. So we understand that we're on the road, and that's a daunting task. And then it's our first grass game in 2 years. So
Grass field.
Yeah, first grass field in 2 years. Been a long time. So we've got to overcome that also.
This is more of a personal question. So we've had some success. We just beat Eastern Kentucky, right? We got a bye. How do we not let success be our enemy? Is that even a thing? Like sometimes you had mentioned after a big win, you kind of let down. We've had this bye week. How do we learn how to stack wins?
Yeah, we've had 2 weeks come back to earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't be there. But how do we learn? Don't be satisfied, and the goal is daily improvement. That's how you overcome. That's how you overcome. What do you call it? Getting satisfied with prosperity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Live your life based around daily improvement
And processes, not
the
outcomes.
The most important one's the next one.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on how do you stack wins? How do you get over being a victim of success?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've learned already this season what that kind of looks like and how it feels. So we don't want that feeling again. Also, we know what the end goal is for this year, and we know that every game is kind of like a do or die right now. It's kind of like a playoff game every single game from here on out. So, I mean, as well, this is college football. You cannot take a week off.
Yeah.
So it's all those things. It's, like Coach said, daily improvement, going to practice every day, having to get better. I mean, it's a lot of things keeping you level-headed. I mean, it could get taken from you real quick. So,
knowing the game plan and executing that game plan to the best of your ability, and then let the chips fall where they may. I've been reading about success in my whole life and my whole career, and a lot of people just say it's really more about the process. If you do the process, if you got the right game plan and you execute it, kind of the score is going to be what it is. If you do what you're supposed to, your defense is going to hold them to a few points.
The process and then what's between your ears is so important.
Yeah.
People that prepare during the week and then mentally you have a little chip on your shoulder about you, they just play so much better than others.
Yeah. Well, I think this team is starting to get that mantle, that chip on their shoulder. We mentioned last coach's show that we feel like our best football is still ahead of us. And that we are kind of gaining some momentum as the season goes on, through injuries, through some wins and some losses. Seems like we still have that trajectory of being a better football team, and I love that. I love people that can go through success and be able to get to that other side and continue that process. So
I agree.
kudos to you, Coach. Look, I don't have much else. It was a bye week. We don't have a whole lot of football to talk about from last week, obviously. So, Coach Jackson first. You have any shout-outs you want to give before we wrap the show up?
Shout-outs. I guess I could shout out my parents first. Shout out the friends, my friends back home, friends here.
What's mom and dad's name?
Jennifer Berry, Kyle Berry, Brooke Berry's my sister out in Lubbock. So shout out the
that's
fam.
Beloved Brooke.
The beloved Brooke. Yeah, the one they like more than you.
We'll say that on the show, but I know the true feelings. But shout outs, probably just the people doing stuff like undercover that no one hears about lately this season. So equipment staff, training staff, just people like that. Just
Braden Hall.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Braden
throw his name
Hall.
out there.
Yep,
Yeah.
Talon. I mean, just people that kind of aren't getting the glory after wins like the players do, but they are helping us out
What
just
about
as
your
much.
roommates?
I actually live by myself. So I live over
Big
there
time.
in an apartment right by my neighbors are Kyle, Safarchuk, Lyle, Santos,
Oh, I love
JP.
Lyle, yeah.
So all those guys are my neighbors, but we all live by ourselves.
I know where you're at. I
Yeah.
know where you're at.
So
we'll
it's
call
perfect.
them your neighbors. Yeah, and you shouted them out. Good. Anyone else? You good? That's
Good
it.
on the shout outs.
Okay, Coach.
No, he hit the ones behind the scene. You left out Taylor Spencer. We got Talon Bird. We got Braden Hall. Those are great ones.
Sure.
Those are great ones. Our sponsors. So big shout out to Bevan at Retro Fitness. Big shout out to Reggie at the warehouse. Appreciate you guys.
Awesome. I got nobody. Oh, I guess the Dr. Delcor. He got me in real quick after I busted myself up. And
John would
and
like
he's
to
gonna
take
fix me
this
up.
time to plead with Shannon not to beat him up anymore.
No, there's no domestic violence at my house. We're all good. Yeah, and of course my beautiful wife, as always. So, look, for Delane Fitzgerald and Jackson Berry, I'm Jon Smith. Let's wrap this show. Go T-Birds.
Go Thunderbirds.